And that's why the vampires were scared of the sun, because, it just goes to telling you, you see how Michael B. Jordan is blocking out that sun. It goes into this right here. But unto you that fear my name shall the Son of Righteousness arise with healing in his wings, and ye shall go forth and grow up as calves of the stall. So that goes into the healing of the wings. Those who follow Christ, what Exodus. So that's why Michael B. Jordan is blocking out. That's why it's the smoke that's blocking out the sun, because it's all duality too. Because that smoke, it represents nothing but hellfire as well. The warring against heaven, the Apollyon, the bottomless pit, trying to block out the Son of God. But in duality, Lucifer's sun, as it's written, will be darkened in the last days. The sun shall be darkened, which is talking about Lucifer, the light bearer, where his influence on the world is going to be weakening. The stars ain't gonna be able to shine their light on people's lives no more. People gonna wake up to who these devils really are and know it's all wicked masonry. So that's why Haley had to play Mary, because Haley just goes into Holly, which is hallelujah. That's why Smoke was dealing with Annie, just like how he was when he was Killmonger. Remember, he joined her at the end, which I get into in a minute. But in the end, when he died, remember, he was with her in the spiritual realm, having the baby, because they know that's what's coming. The spiritual kingdom is coming on earth with the Exodus. That's why they had Grace, played by Lee. Lee is just Lewis. Lee derives out of Lewis. That's why Delroy plays Slim, because Slim is just the rod of God, the staff, the Lewis. It's all wickedness. Sam was dealing with Pearline, because Pearl, the kingdom of heaven, is as a pearl. Let's keep this going. So that Obamacare, the Lucifer, Satan, the Antichrist Obama, that's why he uses the sun, because he want to keep blinding the world, doing the false healing, the false miracles. The Antichrist will do many miracles. That's why he deal with the medical field. That's why on the movie Sinners at the end, that's why Smoke had to be the one that dies, because like I said, it goes to the whole theme of the smoke, the giving up the ghost. It goes to the whole theme of the incense of the prayers of the saints being fulfilled. So that's why he had to have that Tommy gun. He killed off the KKK with the Tommy gun, because that Tommy gun just goes to nothing but the whole theme of that doubt and Thomas spirit, that, once the whole revelation of seeing Christ, remember how Thomas saw Christ, he believed. That's why Yahushua said, those, greater are those who believe and haven't seen me, when he returned from the dead. Remember, doubting Thomas didn't believe he was crucified. So you see right here, that's why they was trying to fight, garlic and all of those things like that. The garlic cloves, cloves, it derives out of Clovis, which is just Lewis. So that's why you use the Clovis, garlic, to kill vampires. You use wooden stakes, because Christ is the foundation of the world. The wood, we build the house of the Lord. He's the carpenter. You know what I'm saying? That's why you use silver. You use silver to kill vampires, because the silver just goes into the moon, being a faithful witness. The moon is just like silver. Remember, as it's written too, he tries us as silver, and as gold is tried. We refine as gold, and he tries us as silver. So it all goes to all the allegories, all of that, That's why when Yahushua, had to be turned in, remember Judas had the silver coins, to give up Yahushua. It's very important symbology. It's all coming together when you understand what's going on.